Our movie kicks off in a local South Korean boxing gym. The owner, a man named Cho, is busy maintaining the facility, ensuring every corner is spotless. Cho isn't alone. He lives with his two adopted children, Jiri and Shinwoo, whom he cherishes more than anything. Jiri is the definition of a hard worker, always staying productive. On the contrary, Shinwoo is quite the slacker when it comes to chores. However, when it comes to martial arts, Shinwoo is a natural prodigy. He actually proved his elite status by clinching the gold at the District Boxing Olympics. This massive win earned Shinwoo a government scholarship, providing him and Giri the opportunity to attend one of the most prestigious high schools in the city. On their very first day, Shinwoo's lazy habits kick in. He oversleeps and is forced to sprint to school in a desperate rush. Unfortunately, luck isn't on his side and he arrives well after the bell has rung. The strict hall monitor shows zero mercy and immediately hands out a punishment. Shinwoo is forced to do grueling push-ups alongside the other latecomers. Once his penalty is served, Shinwoo makes his way to his assigned classroom to begin his first lecture. The moment he slides through the door, every eye in the room is on him. Being the new kid, who showed up late on day one, certainly made an impression. Feeling the awkward tension, Shinwoo quickly spots Giri, who is already charming the class and introducing herself to her new peers. As the morning settles, Shinwoo and Giri take their seats to start the school day. Throughout the entire lecture, Shinwoo completely tunes out the teacher, choosing to spend his time catching up on sleep instead. Luckily for him, his seat is at the very back of the room, hidden away from the teacher's watchful gaze. While the teachers don't notice, his effortless cool guy, laziness catches the eye of his desk mate, Jin Wang, who is eager to strike up a friendship. It doesn't take long for Shinwoo and Jin Wang to hit it off. They quickly become inseparable, even sharing the same taste in snacks and drinks during their canteen breaks. Once school lets out, Shinwoo heads straight to training, honing his boxing skills to ensure he can always hold his own in a fight. While he's deep in his workout, his father, Cho, walks in with a scolding look on his face. It turns out Cho found out about Shinwoo's morning tardiness at school. Instead of taking the criticism quietly, Shinwoo talks back to his father, which only serves to fuel Cho's frustration. Later that evening, Giri is at home enjoying a spicy bowl of noodles while engrossed in a drama. Suddenly, Shinwoo appears with a pair of chopsticks and shamelessly raids her meal. Exasperated by his constant mischief, Giri demands that he make it up to her by buying fresh noodles and a round of ice cream. Left with no choice, Shinwoo dips into his hard-earned savings and heads to the local convenience store to fulfill Giri's request. As he exits the shop, he witnesses a group of school bullies cornering a defenseless student. The bullies shove the poor boy so hard that he crashes into Shinwoo, sending his noodles and ice cream flying onto the pavement. Needless to say, Shinwoo is not pleased. He calmly demands that the bullies reimburse him for the ruined food. Instead of showing remorse, the thugs burst out laughing, mocked by the idea that someone looks so average would dare to stand up to them. One of the bullies, Yunong Jong, takes it a step further by insulting Shinwoo's messy and unkempt appearance. That was the final straw. Enraged by the disrespect, Shinwoo launches a devastating hook that sends Yunong into an instant blackout. Unbeknownst to the boys, a few girls from Shinwoo's class happen to be nearby, capturing the entire lopsided fight on their phones. The victim of the bullying is stunned by Shinwoo's prowess. It was the first time anyone had the guts to put Yunong in his place. Yunong had a reputation for being the school's most feared predator against the weak. In a gesture of gratitude, the boy offers Shinwoo cash for his help, but just as Shinwoo reaches for it, he spots the girls filming. Determined not to look like a common mercenary or a thug, he turns down the money, even though his wallet was feeling the pinch. Back at home, Shinwoo presents the noodles and ice cream to Jiri, but they are a melted, soggy mess. Seeing her dinner destroyed, Jiri's temper flares again, and she storms off to her room in a huff. The following morning is a repeat of the first. Shinwoo oversleeps and finds himself back in the corridor doing push-ups for the hall monitor. As he later walks through the hallways, he realizes that the atmosphere has shifted. Everyone is whispering and staring at him. Sensing something is up, Shinwoo enters his classroom only to find his peers looking at him with newfound awe and respect. Confused by the sudden fame, Shinwoo asks Jin Wang, "What's going on?" Jin Wang pulls out his phone and reveals the viral video of Shinwoo absolutely dismantling Yunong the day before. Thanks to that footage, the entire student body now views Shinwoo as a brave protector who stood up to the school's most notorious gang. To many of the students, Shinwoo has transitioned from a lazy newcomer to a local hero. However, not everyone is cheering. Lee, the undisputed leader of the gang, is seething after watching his right-hand man get humiliated. Lee's rage hits a boiling point when he sees how much traction the video is getting, knowing his gang's authority is slipping away. Inspired by Shinwoo's actions, other students are starting to find their voices and resist the gang's intimidation. Sensing a threat, Lee decides that instead of fighting Shinwoo, he should bring him into the fold to reinforce his own power. Lee views Shinwoo as the perfect candidate for his personal enforcer. It's worth noting that Lee's family actually owns the school, which is why he's always felt untouchable while tormenting others. After school, Shinwoo returns to Cho's gym to stay sharp. During his session, a mysterious man named Junie walks in and introduces himself, expressing a desire to join the gym. Junie signs up on the spot, promising to be a dedicated student of the craft. The next day follows the same pattern. Shinwoo wakes up late, sprints to school, and sleeps through his morning classes. His nap is cut short when Lee's lackeys arrive, looking to stir up trouble and provoke him. Jiri spots the confrontation and steps in, telling the bullies to back off and leave Shinwoo alone. One of the thugs, annoyed by her interference, tries to lean in and scare her. Shinwoo isn't having it. He steps between them and challenges the entire group to a showdown right there in the hallway. A crowd quickly forms as word spreads that the hero was about to throw down with the bullies once more. Just as everyone predicted, Shinwoo makes quick work of the group, leaving them defeated on the floor. This second display of skill catches the eye of Jong, the student council president, who becomes deeply intrigued by this mysterious fighter. Once the dust settles, Jong summons Shinwoo to the student council office for a formal meeting. In the privacy of the office, Jong commends Shinwoo for having the backbone to oppose Lee's reign of terror. She admits that it's incredibly rare to find someone willing to risk everything to stop the school's systemic bullying. Jong confesses she's been waiting for a hero like him because the faculty is too intimidated by Lee's father to intervene. Flattered by the high praise, Shinwoo finds himself instantly smitten with the beautiful and intelligent Jong. Wanting to live up to her expectations, he claims his only motivation for fighting the gang is to bring peace back to the school. As he leaves the office, he finds Lee waiting for him in the hallway. Instead of a fight, Lee extends a formal invitation for Shinwoo to join his inner circle. He even offers a massive financial incentive, hoping that money will be enough to buy Shinwoo's loyalty. However, Shinwoo flatly rejects the offer, refusing to become a bully just for a paycheck. Following his principles, Shinwoo heads to a local shop after school to buy the high-end helmet Jiri has been dreaming of. When he surprises her with it, Giri's face lights up with pure joy. In high spirits, she heads out to grab ingredients to cook a massive thank you feast for her brother. Meanwhile, Shinwoo stops by a supermarket to grab a drink. In a moment of bad luck, he realizes at the register that he's short on cash. Just then, Jong appears like an angel and covers the cost of his drink. In exchange for the favor, she playfully tells Shinwoo he owes her a date so they can get to know each other better. Since he's already crushing on her, he agrees without a second thought. That night, Giri is at home pouring her heart into a gourmet meal, but Shinwoo never shows up. She's left feeling abandoned and deeply hurt. Back at school the next day, Lee is informed that his influence has hit an all-time low thanks to Shinwoo's growing legend. Lee loses his cool, smashing his phone against the ground in a fit of pure frustration. In another part of the school, Shinwoo feels a sting of jealousy when he sees Jong talking closely with the new guy from the gym, Junie. Unable to contain his curiosity, Shinwoo corners Junie during training and asks what's really going on between him and Jong. Junie laughs it off, revealing that Jong is actually his little sister. The news is music to Shinwoo's ears. His path to winning Jong's heart is officially clear. Shortly after, Cho approaches the two of them and praises Junie's technique, even going as far as saying Junie is more skilled than Shinwoo. This hits Shinwoo's pride hard, and he feels a pang of resentment that his father is favoring an outsider. Driven by a need for validation, Shinwoo resolves to push his training to the absolute limit. The following day, Lee's gang is back to their old tricks, shaking down younger students for lunch money. This time, the student council members intervene, refusing to let the bullying continue. Exasperated, Jong gives Lee a final ultimatum: stop the harassment, or she'll personally report him to Shinwoo. Lee is livid at being threatened with Shinwoo's name, but he manages to bite his tongue for the moment. He cryptically remarks that it's only a matter of time before Shinwoo is working for him. Meanwhile, a massive third-year senior walks into Shinwoo's class and challenges him to a fight while he's trying to nap. Annoyed at having his sleep interrupted, Shinwoo shuts the senior down with a single, lightning-fast strike that leaves him unconscious. The school is once again rocked by Shinwoo's power. Taking down a senior so easily was unheard of. However, the administration isn't as impressed. A teacher gives Shinwoo a harsh lecture and summons Cho to the school. During the meeting, the teacher warns Cho that Shinwoo is becoming a liability due to his constant brawling. A humiliated Cho apologizes profusely and promises to crack down on Shinwoo's behavior. That night, Shinwoo meets with Jong and delivers the bad news. He has to stop being the school's protector. But he explains that the constant pressure from the teachers, who are too cowardly to touch Lee, is finally taking its toll. A few days later, the school is stunned by a shocking development. Shinwoo approaches Lee and tells him he's ready to join the gang. Lee is ecstatic. He finally owns the one person who stood in his way. The rest of the gang celebrates the arrival of their new powerhouse, though Yunong remains quietly bitter and suspicious. Despite his inner grudge, Yunong puts on a fake smile to stay in Lee's good graces. Shinwoo's betrayal sends shockwaves through the student body. Those who once called him a hero now look at him with disgust and avoid him at all costs. During a break, the gang takes Shinwoo along to help extort money from the younger kids. While the bullies are busy counting their loot, Shinwoo is secretly filming every single transaction on his phone. After school, Yunong decides to go rogue. He rallies the gang to jump Shinwoo as revenge for the previous humiliation. They head to the boxing gym, expecting to catch Shinwoo off guard. Instead, they find Junie mid-workout. Not knowing who he is, the gang launches a brutal assault on him. Junie puts up a fight, but eventually falls under the weight of their superior numbers. Jiri happens to walk in during the chaos and is horrified to see her father's gym being torn apart. She reaches for her phone to call the authorities, but Yunong strikes her from behind, knocking her out cold. Realizing they've gone too far by hurting a girl, the gang panics and flees the scene before they get caught. A bruised Junie manages to call Shinwoo and tells him what happened. When Shinwoo arrives and sees Jiri unconscious, he enters a state of pure, unadulterated rage. Without hesitation, he storms Lee's secret hideout, ready to end this once and for all. Shinwoo tears through the hideout like a whirlwind, taking down every gang member in his path with terrifying efficiency. He finally gets his hands on Yunong, delivering a beating that leaves no doubt who the superior fighter is. Finally, Lee steps out to settle the score himself, furious that his empire is being dismantled. At first, Lee's agility allows him to evade Shinwoo's strikes. It turns out Lee is a decorated MMA champion with Olympic-level credentials. Shinwoo finds himself pushed to the brink in the most dangerous fight of his life. Just as it looks like he might fall, his thoughts turn to Jiri and the gym, sparking a final surge of adrenaline. He connects with a massive haymaker that shatters one of Lee's teeth and sends him crashing to the floor. With Lee finally defeated, Zhang arrives at the scene. Shinwoo hands her his phone, which is loaded with evidence of every crime the gang committed. He instructs her to turn the footage over to the school and the police to ensure the reign of the bullies is over forever. In the days that follow, the school undergoes a total transformation. Without Lee's shadow looming over them, peace returns to the hallways. The students' opinion of Shinwoo does a complete 180, and he is officially cemented as the school's legendary hero. In the final moments, we see Shinwoo finally enjoying a quiet, normal school life surrounded by his true friends. And that brings our story to a close. Let me know what you thought of Shinwoo's journey in the comments below. I'll catch you in the next one. Until then, take care.